hello. Looks like something happened here, and I am not existing at the moment. Let's try fixing that. There we go. Welcome everyone. This is Dregn Durant of the Yasuhiro88ch, and tonight we are continuing the adventures of Horizon Exploration, the channel's tabletop sci-fi RPG, and we're going to be joined here with our players here in a moment, but a quick announcement as we continue. So tonight we're going to be doing episode 20.5 due to some network connection issues from last week, as well as one of our players being out. We cut it a little short, so this will be kind of a part two to the continuation part two of what we did last time, and we'll do a recap here once we get in. But also there is a big update on the platform that we are using for the game, for the campaign. So Foundry is the platform that we have used for this campaign in particular, and over the past few days, I don't exactly remember when, they have upgraded from version 9 to version 10. So some big changes, and hopefully some updates for the better, maybe a bit more stability. Excuse me, a bit more stability. We'll see how it all plays out as we continue on, but you may notice that there are going to be a few differences from our previous sessions, as the plugins and the plugin community that supports Foundry. Some have already been updated to be compatible with the new version 10, while others are still a work in progress. So unfortunately, some basic things such as the cursors you might see floating around the map, but we'll try our best to work around that and pay a little mind to it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and drop down here, and let's get our party members loaded in here. There we go. All right, party members, are you there?
Hello. Hello.
Perfect. Welcome.
How's it going?
All right. In good fashion, let's continue as we do with some hellos from our individual party members. We'll start off as we have been at the top with Sam Stonewill, played by Peter.
Hey everyone, it's Peter playing Sam Stonewill, and I think I now have printing skills.
Sam was an expert at everything, if I recalled, right?
I'll put this on my resume now.
There
Skills.
we go. Skills. What kind of skills? Just skills.
Printing.
Nice. All right, next up we have Maxine Beck, played by Sean.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Sean Arnold BL. I'm playing Maxine Beck, and sometimes, I just got stuff I got to deal with, so I'm just gonna just have to go sometimes.
Sometimes that is what needs to be done. All right, next up, Cadin Lumin, played by Calvin.
Ooh, Cadin, the babysitter for last session. I felt like
The babysitter. All right.
I had to be the competent one. Our competent person left.
You tried.
I think he's talking about Daario being the baby, right?
I mean, this guy's eating dirt. You got to watch out for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's my
though.
secret.
Don't tell. All right, Daario Cortez, played by Sergio.
Hello, everybody, and happy pre-Labor Day to you, wherever if you're in the States.
That's right.
Yeah, Daario Cortez, your resident ranger of the group.
Excellent.
Everyone not in the States.
Get back to labor. All right. All right, and last up, we have Koji Akiyama, played by Corey.
Hello, Corey playing Koji Akiyama. I got a big hard drive last session.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
First is a shotgun.
Yeah. Gotta pay to see that, huh?
I think I paid for you guys to see that.
Ooh. All right.
What hard drive you have there, sir?
So waiting to see all the data. But
Yeah. You have the data in the store. You're just happy to see me.
last session was a bit short. I think I think we ended after like an hour and a half, maybe 2 at most, but we'll do a brief little recap of what happened during our last session, episode 20. And, well, Maxine had to step away IRL. So Maxine had been called away privately through her Dynasty device that there was a message, and it may or may not have been from Dynasty, but Maxine had stepped away from the rest of the party to head to somewhere a bit more private to deal with a bit of a conversation. Maxine will be found again soon as the party regroups in the lobby of the Akiyama Hotel, where the group had stayed, courtesy of Koji Akiyama and his fancy pants name getting them pretty easy access and be getting taken care of as they enjoyed a very relaxing evening a couple sessions ago, episode 19. And, well, with the Maxine stepping away, Cadin, Daario, Sam, and Koji had decided that they needed to sort out what to do with the data that was on this data drive that they had taken, quote unquote taken, from Grimes' shop. They initially hoping to talk with a John Grimes, which Cadin had met when they first entered Fontaine. Well, John was unavailable, so they had gone over to the Narrow Trade Company and, well, to try to resolve some business disputes, decided to lend a hand. And, well, when they returned to Grimes' shop to resolve some paperwork, I suppose we can call it that, they instead left with the data drive containing much of that information. And at the hotel, at the Akiyama Hotel, the next day, they then decided to head down to the business center that is located, gosh, did I say? I think I said it was on the 3rd floor, right? But they had gone down to the 3rd floor and they had accessed one of the kind of business terminals that were available there for use by the patrons of the hotel. And, well, with the kiosk nearby, Koji had purchased a very large data bank, and using that technology and the connectors that came with it, they managed to hook up the data drive to the terminal and the new portable storage that Koji had purchased, and made copies of the manifest from Grimes' shop, and now have a digital copy of the information that, well, we'll see how they resolve this with the Narrow Trade Company, but they now have a copy of the data they believe Narrow is looking to dispose of. So, after that brief session in the business center, the party will be departing, I believe, soon, heading back down a couple floors to the lobby. They can see the lobby from their current floor, looking down over the foyer, and, well, there is a large, if I recall correctly, a large kind of sakura tree that is grown in the center of this lobby area, around kind of the corner of where the front lobby desks were when they had first entered the hotel. And I think that is where we'll be kicking off episode 20.5. So with that, Cadin, Daario, Sam, and Koji, you are all within that business district, or not business district, the business center, or preparing to depart it. You had made a, I forget, what was the 3D printer that you guys found in the, what did I use that for? That was for a, did you make a physical copy of the document?
A copy of the, yeah, because, yeah.
That's
yeah, because we wanted to keep it off the network.
That's right. Yeah, so we had done a little discussion about some physical papers that the group had come across. So there was a large contract that was printed out from the Narrow Trade Company that Grimes had signed and agreed to, which was, if I recall from our discussion, left behind at Grimes' shop. But we agreed that Cadin, in the moment, would have picked up the, invoice for the transaction and was in possession of it. So you guys had found not a traditional paper printer as we would know it to be, but there was a 3D printer of sort that had made a carbon copy, a replicate of the invoice page, the invoice printout that Grimes had made of their business with the Narrow Trade Company. So that is what you guys have, and yeah, where are you all looking to head out?
So I guess we're headed back to the Narrow Trade Company. Is that what we're doing, everyone?
Yeah, headed to the garage.
Yeah, the garage where we parked, which I think was attached to the hotel we're staying at. I assume they have a parking garage.
Yeah, you guys can get to if I recall, it was an underground garage that Maxine had initially rolled into near the Akiyama Hotel, and you guys will make your way.
On the way, as we're leaving, I'm going to send a message to Sean, basically saying, I'm sorry, Maxine, that we're on our way down to the car, meet us there, or meet us over at, what's the place called?
The Narrow Trade Company?
Narrow Trade Company, yeah.
Okay. So as you guys prepare to regroup at the vehicle or head towards the vehicle, Maxine, separated from the group and returning. You, early in the morning after your brief exchange with the others regarding what was it that you were talking with everybody about? It's been a few weeks, but you had discussed a little bit about, gosh, it's been so long. We'll just pass over it. But you had separated yourself from the group. Heading downstairs, you received a message that did not come from Dynasty directly, but had instead come from Mr. Cooper. And Mr. Cooper wished to speak with you a bit privately. You guys had exchanged contacts before leaving, if I am not mistaken, and he had sent you a message regarding a possible business opportunity which involved a group of individuals that he spoke to you about. And after resolving, part of his call was to check in on the progress with the Grimes shop transaction that you had agreed to help resolve. But his message to you was simply that if you are available for a call, I have a urgent matter I would like to discuss with you, thinking that you and your group would be quite suitable for the job, given your initial, or his initial, what's the word I'm looking for? Initial, when you meet somebody.
Introduction.
Gosh, I'm blanking on the word. But his initial perspective of your capabilities, we'll just go with that. And you reluctantly stepped away from the group to take that message and learn a little bit more about what he was asking from you.
Mm-hmm.
And you get this message from Sam not long after you wrap up a short call with Mr. Cooper, but he voiced that there is a group of 4 individuals that Dynasty had given him warning about. They seem to be in the north, well, I guess with the location of Fontaine in mind, right? We're using just kind of basic cardinal directions for simplicity, but to the northeast of the city, Dynasty has detected a group of individuals that seem to be running a bit rogue and may pose a risk to what Dynasty is looking for on the planet, and would like to, aside from Maxine, we're 4 individuals. What do you mean, Peter?
We're talking about us.
yeah. No, true. But there's a group that Dynasty has flagged as a bit of a concern, and the Narrow Trade Company is aware of it, and Mr. Cooper is looking to possibly use some of your services to have this situation resolved in a in a more, I guess, private method, non-public, through third-party channels. And this would be an opportunity for you and your group to perhaps gain a bit more trust with the Narrow Trade Company, especially considering if the transaction with the Grime Shop is resolved, then perhaps there would be reason for the Narrow Trade Company to have a good relationship with a group that has voiced some initiative, some
Chris.
yeah. Well, when Maxine had the one-on-one conversation with Cooper,
Oh yeah.
yes. So, yeah, Mr. Cooper had decided to perhaps throw this your way, Maxine. He did not ask you to make a decision during the call, but as you speak with your group and once you resolve the Grime Shop issue, then perhaps next time you visit the Narrow Trade Company, you would be open to discussing this next opportunity. He did, however, mention that he will need a response within the next day or so. So he's given you about 36 hours to make a decision before he decides to go elsewhere. But with that, you consider it, and you guys end the call, and you get a message from Sam to meet you either at the vehicle or find your way over to the Narrow Trade Company.
I'm gonna look at my hand on the device for a little bit. Do I see that it's been seen? Do I see that my message has been seen?
Maxine?
I mean, obviously, I would have. Actually, I haven't messed with my my new device, so it probably has default settings, so it probably has read receipts. Yeah, I would probably get back to him as soon as I can after dealing with the call.
Yeah. So Sam,
And,
it does appear that Maxine has seen the message shortly after.
And I think I'll just reply back that I'll meet you at the garage.
All right. Excellent.
I'll let the group know. Maxine will meet us at the garage.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, with that, let's maybe get an image up on the screen here. But yes, the party will be reconvening as you all make your way over to the garage. Maxine will be the last one to arrive, as the other four of you being together and already kind of on the way there, will make your way to the garage. Now, again, you guys are currently within Fontaine City. Oh, they have changed how the journal entries look.
Yeah, I think the intent is to add a lot more functionality to the journals, but I haven't looked into how it works.
Yeah, it's an interesting change. I kind of see what they're going for here. Maybe having the ability to look at different chapters, right? So that actually might work in my favor in the future, but for now, we're going to minimize that. And yeah, currently, right, you are all within the Fontaine Admin District, which is where the Akiyama Hotel exists. And the Narrow Trade Company will be located over at the Business District, which... yeah, I'm going to have to minimize that for all of them. All right, they definitely look more like cards now, so that's all right. And the Narrow Trade Company itself was a building that looked a little bit like the following. A little bit contrast to the more pastel kind of greenish colors of Fontaine City. But the group... odd. Why am I not seeing this on stream? Are the images popping up on stream for you guys?
It's shown up on mine, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I got like a tall building that looks like the. It says Narrow Trade Company on it. Never mind.
No, but these pop-ups are not showing up on the stream.
Yeah, it
Oh,
shows up in
I
Foundry,
see.
but not on stream.
Odd. Okay. I'll try to figure that out here. Maybe it's the way these new pop-ups are being captured within the window.
Yeah, it might be how you have the stream set. Like, are you capturing
I'll
the...
figure it out. But yeah, you are all currently at the vehicle, and you guys hear the steps as Maxine makes her approach.
You good, Maxine?
I'm not entirely sure yet.
You kind of took off without much notice.
Oh, that'll happen. I got a call from Cooper, the one we met with at Nero. He has another task that he's offered about this group that's the Dynasty sees as a risk. So because of our clear capabilities at discretion, he wants us to consider handling it.
Oh, okay. Us as in everyone, or us as in you?
Seemed like it was an opportunity for the team.
Okay.
Now, this could be problematic. Could be an opportunity to gain some allies. Could be an opportunity to gain some goodwill with the corporation.
What are we talking about dealing with exactly?
There's 4 people that they want us to discreetly deal with.
Like hits?
Probably, Koji. Probably.
Do we know?
Nice.
Do we know if these are dangerous people, or are they just simple folks that they want to no longer have a problem with?
It's hard to say. Anything from dangerous types to people like Grimes could all fall under the umbrella of potential risk. So I think it's got time to consider it. It might be worth looking into these individuals, seeing what they're getting some intel first. And if we don't take this, we'll push it to someone else. So if it's something we want to intervene on, we need to take it.
It's going to be situational. Like, I personally can't agree just to kill some random person, no questions asked.
I can. One of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. Well, there's opportunity for that.
This one.
Again, intel first, decision later.
Should we go scope them out before we head over to Narrow Trade Company?
We don't have a timeline on turning in this data, so obviously if we take too long, they'll start to ask questions, but might be something to do. They're to the northeast. Was it saying that they're in the city or northeast of the city?
His brief discussion, he didn't go into a whole lot of depth of who these people were, why they're concerned about them.
Okay.
Simply the proposition that, hey, we got a people problem that we would like you to maybe deal with if you are open to that arrangement. And the message was more that these were people approaching the city, not currently in the city.
I think what we might have to do is turn in the data. And the way that the situation was resolved might work in our favor. If it's clear that there's been some... If word gets out that there's been some trouble at Grimes, it might look like it was intentional, and it might look like we were pressing them to keep them quiet. And if Grimes doesn't do anything stupid, which it's hard to say, but could work in our favor. If we want to consider this other task, we'll have to talk to Cooper and get more information. What he's looking for, they're outsiders. So, probably capable, at least. If they're wandering outside the city.
No.
Maxine, do you feel like currying this favor for Mr. Cooper? Do you feel like it's that gonna be worth it for us?
Dynasty can make a lot of things happen. And continuing to stay in their good books could be useful.
Well, seems like if we want to learn more about the core and hopefully some more information, might be best that we consider this. I don't know what you think, Cadin.
It's worth considering. I just don't feel like openly agreeing to an open contract. That's my biggest thing.
We can press him for more information before we make a call.
Sounds alright to me if that's the case then.
Well, especially if we are going to go to the Neural Trade Company to take back that information, might as well see him while we're there.
Well, we ain't gonna learn anything standing around here, is we?
We is not.
In the vehicle, I want to see if I can find I cut a hole in like the upholstery somewhere where I could shove this hard drive to hide it with the paperwork.
I'm gonna have off the bat. Are you looking for a place to stash it, or are you looking to cut up the upholstery to?
I'm looking for a spot where because usually there's like a hollow spot. Futures to chairs, I don't know how they work, but usually there's some hollow space inside a seat where all the springs and shit are.
Give me an investigation roll as you look around inside of the vehicle. And
can I provide some assistance in this matter?
You sure can. You can make a choice of investigation or history with advantage.
Hardly much of a difference here. I'm not the specialist in these matters. Oh, Jesus.
As a GM, did you just tell me that a regular roll and a regular roll versus a roll with advantage wasn't that big of a difference? And actually, on top of that, you just rolled 2 20s.
I got. Hold on, 2 20. I'm the best.
Oh my
god. No.
Disadvantage.
I think I was misunderstanding. I was just looking at it as just history versus investigation, which were the same.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just went with the first one on the list.
All right. Well, Maxine with a natural 20 on your history, and Cadin with your investigation of a 6. Cadin, you are kind of fishing around in the vehicle, looking for a place. You got the new drive in one hand, and you have you're kind of hunched into the vehicle looking for like a safe spot to put this, and your party members are able to see you. Some of them may be a little confused on what the hell you're doing and why you're taking so long to take a seat. But Maxine, being the studious one that you are, having read the manual like the crazy one that you are, you recognize what Cadin is looking for, and you know that, one, the rear seat does pop open, and there is actually a kind of a stashed storage area underneath the rear seat. You also know that between the front and the middle row, there is a hatch in the kind of center area, which has a bit of a hidden compartment as well that could be used for putting some items away a bit more secretively.
I think I'll point these opportunities out in these two areas. And
Well, I don't want sort of like, I was specifically looking for, I'm going to be talking to Maxine when I say this. I was hoping to put it in the seat because I can like fix the seat afterwards so no one will know it's there.
want to avoid putting it somewhere that it could be subjected to damage.
True. But I feel like that hatch at the back, even if it's like someone's gonna know about it, right? Like it's like you need somewhere that you don't hide stuff, right?
So Cadin, as much as you voiced that you were looking for a space, it kind of sounds like you know what you want to do.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's a bad idea because he's ready to might get damaged, and then I'm like, oh, what's the point then? If we're gonna keep it. I guess we'll stick at the secret hatch because we got nowhere better to put it right now.
That is up to you. Where would you put the hard drive? I mean, would you put it in the place that Maxine pointed out, sensing that you're looking for a somewhat secure location? But if Cadin is considering that, hey, no, I can just mend the tear and just cut a tear in the seat, yeah, make a choice.
Yeah, I'll go with the spot that Maxine pointed out because I feel like she's right. My idea is probably not going to work so well.
All right.
And put it in the seat. Koji sits down too hard. It would turn to dust.
Might find a new secret place.
Oh no.
Oh no.
No. This is something to look at in the future. This is ours. We can outfit it as we see appropriate, so having some hiding places would be good.
All right. Well,
now that that's all settled, let's get going. You see Sam open up the driver's side and hop on.
Koji will hop in the back.
Daario takes the seat in the middle.
Here, I'll go ahead and take the I'll take passenger seat shotgun.
as we do, yeah, go ahead and position yourselves in the appropriate seating orientation here.
Oh, pause.
Oh,
we're
my
paused.
bad. There you go.
By the way, fun fact, with the new built-in ping system, there's just the normal one. There is Alt,
Ooh.
and there is the GM only can do, I think it's Shift or Control, which will pan everyone's camera to
Let's
the third kind.
let's just test that out real quick. So what is it? It's oh, what's
It's either Shift or Control, and then just click and hold.
yeah, maybe it's the I'm not getting any reaction. All right, we'll figure that out next time. That's very cool. All right, you guys are in the vehicle, and Sam, you hike the seat up a little bit, and you guys are off. As you depart the Akiyama Hotel, you're met with a individual at the front who doesn't ask questions, opens the gate for you all, and takes your parking ticket from you, but you guys are not prompted to pay, as they simply thank you for your stay and they hope to serve you all again soon. And you all make it to the Fontaine highways as you take the kind of fast tracks over to the Fontaine business district. And in turn, find yourselves very soon to the Narrow Trade Company. Now, question. Last time you guys were here, you had parked in front of or not in front, but you had parked kind of off in a side street. Where are you guys going to be parking today? Are you going to find a similar side street? Are you going to go to the Narrow Trade Company parking structure that is at the base? Or are you looking for somewhere a bit further away?
I'm going to try to direct Sam to somewhere not owned by Narrow Trade Company. Just side street or something.
15 blocks later.
Just remember, we parked in section B1, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to park a little ways away, but within walking distance, and will make your way to the Narrow Trade Company. Now, unfortunately, the map that I had generated last time for the internals of the Narrow Trade Company was also done using a plugin, which has broke. So that map, unfortunately, does not exist anymore. Hopefully that plugin will update at some point, and maybe I'll be able to bring that back. But otherwise, for now, we're going to continue with our kind of theater of mind here as you guys enter the Narrow Trade Company. And looking around, Sam, it doesn't look like Frito is standing in the corner this time, but you do see again a receptionist at the front. There's a few folks wearing kind of business attire, mulling about, and you guys are at the Narrow Trade Company.
Oh, by the way, I should state that we put at least I did, I don't know if anyone else did, but I put my getup back on with the stuff we bought.
That's probably an important note. So before you guys enter, are we switching back into disguises, or what is everyone's
Koji and
plan?
I don't have the disguise, so I think
I have the helmet and the mustache.
Yeah, he has a helmet.
I am there not disguised.
I will follow suit just to try to keep up appearances.
Yeah, Daario will do the same thing.
Okay.
Koji will kind of nudge Sam. Hey, wanna borrow this mustache?
I forget, was the helmet fully covered, and then does he put the mustache on top of the helmet?
I did before, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you did before? What?
Yeah, but well, I never got out of the car before, so it didn't even.
That's true. Yeah. So Sam, you are wearing your technician kind of gear, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not in any get up.
Gotcha. And Koji, you're telling me that the helmet you picked out was a full face helmet?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And the mustache is on the outside of the helmet?
Yes.
Perfect. No one will know. All right, cool. So the three of you dressed much like your kind of for-hire militia mercenary group, the known as Octurus, and you have Sam now accompanying you all as his traditional technician, with his traditional technician appearance, unlike the previous visit where you were disguised as a travel blogger, basically. And Koji in tow, wearing his... Koji, you're just wearing like a... you're
Yeah,
disguised.
just the normal white business shirt, slacks.
And a full
business
face
shoes.
helmet. All right.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, I thought you bought the full getup last time.
No, he
God
definitely
damn,
did
I
not
know
have
you
a
did
full
not.
getup.
I definitely did not.
Yeah. Koji's ridiculous. All right, but you all step inside, group of 5, into the Narrow Trade Company, and at the moment, the receptionist seems to notice you all. The guards at the corners seem to notice you all. Once again, at the front, to the sides of the large double door entrance, there are more heavily armed men in heavily armored attire as well, keeping an eye out, standing guard, show a show of force. And inside, on the other hand, right, with the Narrow Trade Company, looks very business.
Go to the receptionist and talk to her, I guess, is the first step.
Hello, welcome to the Narrow Trade Company. What can we do for you today?
We have a meeting with Mr. Cooper.
You have a meeting with Mr. Cooper. May I ask who you are with?
Arcturus.
Arcturus. He clacks away at his keyboard, or I guess it's more of like a digital representation of one. But
he's got a mechanical keyboard. He's a cool kid.
Yeah. It simulates the sound of a traditional keyboard. But strange. I don't see any meetings for an Arcturus with Mr. Cooper.
We were taking care of some personal business for him.
Is there a name that I can provide to see if they are expecting
you? The meeting wasn't scheduled. He will know the name Arcturus.
It's off the books. I put emphasis on that.
I see. All right. Well, give me a moment and I'll see if Mr. Cooper is available to meet with you all. With that, he kind of turns partway to the side and with a finger up to a headpiece. Hello, Mr. Cooper. I have an Arcturus here to see you. Are you expecting them? I understand. All right, thank you. And a short while later, he turns back to you all and says, well, Mr. Cooper seems to be wrapping up some business at the moment. He says that if you can wait for a little bit, he will be right with you all.
Sure.
All right, well, feel free to take a seat over there. If you would like something to drink, do let me know. I can provide something.
Thank you. Unless anyone else is gonna, I'm gonna actually, someone's probably gonna ask him, but I'm gonna go sit down in the corner, wherever she pointed.
Yep, there are seats lined about the edge to the right of the entryway, with the opposite end being the kind of area where you guys took your photos previously, and to the left of where the entryway is being the door that leads to the internals of the Narrow Trade Company.
I want to whisper to the group if we're kind of like huddled together.
Unless anyone objects, you guys should be.
Koji will lean in real close.
So are we going to give Mr. Cooper the documents that he was looking for from the shop?
That is the mission, unless something came up that I didn't catch.
Just wanted to make sure, just before we obviously try to get more information about the mission, I guess the big mission that you mentioned before, Maxine.
I think take care of the one, then ask about the other.
Understood.
Well, as you are all waiting, it takes longer than you expected, as 10 minutes seems to fly by as you guys are discussing and waiting. And some more time will pass as almost 25 minutes seems to have gone by. But
should we stay here? Should we come back another time?
I don't know. What else do we got to do, really? Like, this is kind of what would we do if we weren't doing this?
From the other side of the room, however, the door will open and you will all find Mr. Cooper steps through. Arcturus. Sorry for the wait. You can come in now.
Sure.
Approach.
We all follow him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Once you meet up with Mr. Cooper, who has come out to greet you all, as soon as you pass into the narrow kind of security checkpoint, they ask you to place your items as they did before. Any sort of firearms and bladed weapons, energy weapons, anything that can be a potential threat, right? They confiscate and put into the lockers in the other room. And
Can I keep my flask?
they don't complain about you asking about your flask.
Sweet.
I think this time the only thing I even came in with is my knife, just so I have something to turn over to them to where it doesn't seem like I'm the odd one out not turning in a weapon, but I'm not bringing in my pistol this time.
Sure.
Sam gives them everything: pistol, hammer.
Yeah, your what was the medical gun called again?
My ROM pistol.
ROM pistol, that's the one. Yes. They asked for that as well. Not fully sure if it's a firearm or something more, but yes. You all turn your gear in, and a moment later continue on with Mr. Cooper. Now, once
the boring hall of the past.
the boring hall. Oh my God! Oh, disrespect to the Narrow Trade Company.
The entire narrow trade history.
But when you enter that hallway, there is a large armored bodyguard type that is there waiting for Mr. Cooper, it seems, and very akin to the one you guys saw the first time you had entered. And Koji, this whole environment is new to you, as you had not previously entered, but very fancy. Kind of reminds you of some of the businesses that your siblings were involved with, as far as just like the cleanliness of it, the kind of way the advertisements and artwork and these kind of clean hallways. And later when you get to the cubicle area where there's different scientists or techs that are working away, you remember it feeling very similar to some of the businesses that you had seen back home. Not that you probably paid a whole lot of attention to it, but the familiarity of it definitely settles in the more you see.
It's always stuffy in these places.
With that short little walk later, you all make it past a couple of rooms and to a large office in the first floor that Mr. Cooper had taken 3 of you to prior. And you're all now within this room. The large armored bodyguard kind of steps off to the side of the doorway, and Mr. Cooper...
I do want to mention that as we're walking, if I do see Frito, I would wave to him. If
Sure.
he's not there, it's cool.
give me a perception roll as you look around to see if Frito is working today.
Oh man, the whole character sheet looks different. 8.
Roll of an 8. And I also think my GM rolls are not hidden. I think it rolls it privately, but I think it still shows it.
It's hidden to us.
Yeah, it still shows that a roll was made, but it doesn't actually show what it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know. Here's a quick question to you guys, since we're at this impasse here.
And then the dice do not show up.
Yeah, do you like being able to know if I roll something, or does it make little difference?
It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
Does
I
it-
don't really have any strong feelings on it.
Does it show up for the audience?
It does
'Cause
not
they
show
might-
up for the audience.
They get the same question mark that we do on the stream.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think it's gonna have to. It'll probably be an all or nothing unless I can find maybe a plugin that has roles that I can decide who sees it and who doesn't. Yeah, I only have the option to reveal to everybody at the moment. So
Although I would like to know when you roll 17 dice. I
yeah,
would like to be worried.
yeah. Okay. We'll think about it. Yeah. With updates like these, right? With software, part of me is hesitant to overload it with plugins as cool as they are, just because of situations like this. But we'll see. We'll have to think about it. I will. So, yeah, Sam, as you're looking around for Frito, or at least the off chance of spotting Frito, between some of the furniture being a bit taller than your eye level, and with a lot of the kind of people who are standing guard being a bit more armored, wearing visors, at a first glance, looking around, no, you don't spot Frito here today. But you are all now in this office with Mr. Cooper, who walks over to his desk and takes a seat and looks to you all with a bit of a wry smile. Arcturus, eh?
I'll sketch like a mocking bow. You know, like the arm in front of me and like, ta-da!
I'm gonna have you give me a... Gosh, what would I... give me a performance roll.
Not great. 9.
9? He seems unamused as you make the gesture. Welcome back. It is surprising. I was expecting you to take a little bit longer, but I was informed that there was some trouble over at Grimes' shop, and it seems that you have been making quite a bit of progress in resolving the business that I have been looking to have closed up.
This sort of thing, the way that I saw fit to approach, is a bit noisier, but that noise is on us. And it makes it clear to these people where they fall in the great order of things. They know what happens if they step out of line.
He appraises your little monologue, looking you up and down as his eyes turn to the others. And for those of you who... I don't want to handle this. Those of you who are listening to Maxine, if I'm going to have everyone else other than Maxine decide if they want to give me a charisma roll of their choice. So perception, or persuasion, deception, intimidation, or performance.
What's this roll for?
This is a roll that I'm having you make as you listen to Maxine, as Mr. Cooper is now looking among all of you.
13.
7 for me.
19 for Daario.
Okay. So Koji rolled an intimidation of 7. Cadin is a persuasion of 13. Daario, a performance of 19. And Sam, a persuasion of 16. All right.
I imagine Dar's nodding aggressively.
Nods in Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, I'm going to have each of you describe how you're behaving as Maxine is giving this message to Mr. Cooper. So we'll start with the lowest roll at Koji.
Koji's probably standing in the background doing his best to look intimidating, but mustache is probably not doing him any favors.
Yeah, maybe that would make sense. Looks a little silly with the mustache on the full face. All right, and then Cadin with your persuasion of 13.
Crossed arms, like resting on one leg, kind of relaxed, but definitely looking kind of impatient.
Okay. And Sam, same with the 16.
Sam is looking back and forth between Maxine and Mr. Cooper.
What kind of an expression are you going to be making?
Just like like I don't know, like a learning expression. Like he's trying to pay attention, and try to gather like the facial expressions that the other two are having.
Hey, you're being what's the word? Astute?
Yeah.
And then Daario performing at a 19.
Daario has his hands behind his back, kind of in a military fashion, and though he has a mask on, is nodding in a confident way towards looking directly at Mr. Cooper.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Cooper, after a brief moment looking at each of you, I see that there are more of you than there were the last time you came to visit, but it does seem that you and your group are quite capable. Do you have what I am looking for?
I'm gonna I'll have had it in my hands and I'll just kind of wave it.
And his eyes will settle on you, Cadin.
Yeah, so it'd be like a hard drive and a piece of paperwork, basically, is all I have. And I'll, I guess, approach put it on his desk.
And this is everything.
All that remains.
Yeah.
And what of Grimes' shop?
It stands.
Did they serve any troubles?
They were cooperative in the end.
As you are speaking, and he's kind of asking some questions with his attention on what you had set down, he picks up the page and looks at it. He holds it up kind of to an office light to make sure it looks and seems genuine, and looks at the drive that you had placed. Now, just to be clear, you placed the original on the desk.
Correct.
Okay. Looking at the drive, Maxine, your perception was a +4, right?
It is a +5.
+5. Oh, even better. All right. And does anybody have a +3 or higher?
Well, that's a good question.
I certainly don't.
Nope.
Nope.
Dragon, for that was
Perception.
And that was for +3 or?
Yep, +3 or higher.
Yeah, Daario.
Daario. Okay, so Maxine and Daario, as you are all observing, the two of you in particular will notice that as he places the paper down, appearing to be satisfied with the material and the handwriting and believing it to be genuine from the looks of his satisfaction on his face, he then turns his attention to the data drive that you had pulled, and you see his look of satisfaction change to a look of almost kind of bemused, ironic humor as a twisted smile kind of curls at the edge of his lip. This is what they were using, as he holds up the old-looking data drive.
That was their backup. This is what they're using. I'll wave the sheet of paper.
You mean to tell me that they are still working with pieces of paper, and they simply use this as he shakes it, almost like an empty tin can, as it something inside kind of rattles a little bit. And this is the backup?
Yep.
Primitive animals. Very well. As he hits a button on he has a little calling terminal on his desk. Angie, will you come in here? I have an old drive I'd like you to take a look at. And you hear a yes sir on the other side, as minutes later someone walks through the door behind you all, and a female wearing kind of a off-white lab coat with glasses walks in, and Mr. Cooper will hand her the data drive, and you hear him tell her, make sure that this has not been tampered with, and if any signs of tampering are found, let me know soon. Can you do this within the next 10 minutes? Yes, sir. And a brief exchange happens between the two of them as she hurries off with the data drive. And Mr. Cooper turns to the rest of you as he gestures the empty space in front of him. Please, take a seat while we wait. And he hits another button on his little calling terminal, and there are 6 chairs that rise up from the ground.
Sure.
Coach, take a seat.
Now, the seats are going to be kind of oriented in a, I guess, 2x3 setup, being 3 wide. So I'm not going to have you guys reposition, but I would like to know who would likely sit in the front row closest to him.
I think I'd be up front.
I think I'd be up front.
Before I hop on the chair, I'd like to just inspect to see if there's any holes or slots
In the chair?
in the chair. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it's like, are there freaking handcuffs that are going to come out and
Oh, fuck,
lock
I
me
was
in?
doing the same thing. Yeah, this happened to me once already.
Cadin, you did not naturally think
I
of
did
that
not,
idea,
no.
so no. But yeah, Sam, give me a investigation roll as you take a very close look at the chair before
20, 30, 20.
30, 20. All right. Yeah, Sam, you approach the chair, and no, I mean, it looks like something that would... You see the platform that it came out of the ground. You kind of examine the whole structure, and it does appear to be just a basic, regular kind of office sofa chair. It looks like it was simply on a platform that moves, and there's a bit of a sliding door mechanism that seems to move out of the way so that they can retract back into the floor. But outside of that, you're not noticing anything in particular on the chairs themselves that raise any alarms.
I hop on and I try to see if it swivels. And if it does, I like to try to find out if it swivels all the way around.
You take a seat, you jerk side to side, and it does not swivel one bit. They seem to be fixed.
I think the best part too is his feet are going to be hanging off the ground.
Yeah, I'm a little sadder now that it doesn't swivel all the way around.
Koji's gonna remain standing.
Okay, fair enough.
Daario takes a seat right behind Cadin.
Okay.
I feel like by default, we just, whenever Koji does something, it's described with intimidating. Like he's standing there intimidatingly.
Yeah.
Intimidatingly. He drives a vehicle intimidatingly. Just everything has that in front of it.
That's how
He's
that's...
just standing there.
It's got a
Menacingly.
Luigi stare.
Yep, exactly. What does Koji do? He sleeps. Okay, roll me intimidation.
Yeah, like he snores, but on the exhale, it's a growl.
Oh my god. That's how you guys keep the wildlife away at when you rest at night. All right.
Scenes of the movies in the dark with that really like creepy growl in the darkness. That's what he makes, and it just scares everything else away.
Oh my god. All right. Well, as you all take a seat, Mr. Cooper, looking fairly satisfied with himself, can we get you anything? Something to drink, perhaps?
I'm fine.
I raise my hand. It's not a problem. You have anything strong?
Strong. Well, we do have some hard liquor that we could use as this is a cause for celebration, a new partnership of sorts. Sure, why not? And with that, with the simple mention of why not, the guard in the back of the room actually moves to the opposite of the door. And in the back of the room, there is a cabinet that he opens up, and inside is kind of a mini bar of sorts and several glasses of alcohol lined up, kind of what you might see in certain older office buildings. But he pulls out a nice a dark amber looking bottle as the liquid sloshes around inside. And did anyone else a voice as he's grabbing this bottle that they would be interested in a drink?
Nope, I didn't say.
Yeah, Daario remains unmoving.
Koji will abstain.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So he brings up 2 glasses and sets them on the desk in front of Mr. Cooper. And Mr. Cooper will pour 2 glasses, one for himself and one for Sam.
Mr. Cooper, I would like to understand the gesture. I'd like to assure you that if it were not for the part of the Scouts handbook that has to do with authorized recreation, I would be more than happy to join. Regulations being what they are.
It is of no concern. This is simply a gesture of gratitude and prosperity. As he stands and, taking both glasses in hand, he walks over besides where Sam sits and offers you a glass. As you all look at the bottle that is sitting on the desk in front where Mr. Cooper had been sitting, you see that it looks very much like if you've ever seen a Maker's bottle, the one that has the red wax, right on the seal, at the top.
Yep.
It looks very much that shape, but a much darker amber color is within, and rather than a wax seal at the top, this has a black a black wax that is neatly trimmed at the bottom, so there's no like drippage, and there seems to be a golden ribbon that is lining the top where it would detach. And on the bottle side, in gold trim, black text, reads simply Sun Soul. And he hands you a glass, Sam.
Thank you. Your gratitude is well received.
And your efforts do not go unnoticed. Cheers, as he places the glass within range.
I grab it, cheers it back, and then I take a sip.
This is much like what you had at the Akiyama Hotel.
Expensive as hell.
Yeah, 1, expensive as hell. 2,
It's potato liquor.
it's very smooth. However, there is a whirlwind of depth that spreads across your tongue as soon as it touches your lips. It almost feels like you're drinking sunshine.
Sam's eyes widen, and I look at Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper, this is one of the best things I've ever tasted.
Well, enjoy it. That glass alone is probably worth more than your life in its entirety.
Sam looks at him and then takes another sip, just savoring all the flavors.
Yeah, with every sip, it seems to go through almost like, you know how wine, you can kind of, if you are a real connoisseur of wine, not that I am, there is a distinct kind of taste of the environment the grapes were, grown in, right? And people can kind of tell, even almost to the detail of like what year it was made, with the way the what is it? I don't know the terminology, but like they recognize, that it's part of this region because there's hints of other materials that exist in that region, right? Much like that vibe where with every sip it kind of spreads over your mouth, it glides down your throat, it settles smoothly in your stomach. and on top of just having this warmth that begins to spread across your entire body, almost like starting at your heart and then getting pumped into your extremities, and you could almost visualize that expanding of this feeling. It almost seems as though with every sip you go through different seasons, as if it has layers.
Can you tell me the name of this bottle one more time? Just because I know this is very important to learn.
Sun Soul is what's written on the side of the bottle with a very fancy double S.
I'm sure this little bit of note will be very handy in the future.
You never know.
He's at a bar next time.
You never know. All right, but Mr. Cooper will also take a sip, and you all see him close his eyes, and almost for many seconds just seems like he's mentally just gone somewhere. And about 5 seconds later, he slowly opens his eyes back up, and there's a rare
4 people who aren't drinking staring at him waiting.
basically. But he looks satisfied as he takes his glass back to his desk, sits back down, places the glass aside, and looks to you all. So, assuming that the drive that you have provided us is what we expect it to be, and all the data is intact as we expect it to be, I wish to discuss with you all a possible arrangement. Have you spoken to the others as his eyes settle on Maxine?
I've told them to be on their best behavior. That we want to make sure first and foremost that Nero is happy with our work.
I see. Well, I will keep it simple then. We seem to be receiving some visitors, and we believe them to have hostile intent towards Fontaine. They seem to be coming from the east, and, well, our scouts have alerted us of their presence. There seems to be a small group of 4 that have made their way into the outer borders of Fontaine. And we are uncertain where their allegiances are. Seeing how we are still building our trust with one another, it seemed appropriate to me that I extend this problem to you all. Perhaps you will have a solution for our concerns.
So what threat do they pose, though, 4 people against a city?
As far as we can tell, the Narrow Trade Company is closely partnered with Dynasty, and as such, we are privy to some information when it comes to different groups that have recently made their way to Aurora Green. And this, from all accounts, appears to be one of those said groups. However, we don't seem to have a common understanding, and we don't seem to have a good indication of what the intention of these groups may be, or this group may have towards Fontaine. So we are looking to send someone out to investigate, and if they prove to be hostile, eliminated.
I look over at Maxine. and I look back at Mr. Cooper, and I ask, just curious, do we get anything for doing this, or is this just goodwill?
And his smile deepens in a slit, widening. No, this will not simply be a request out of goodwill. It is not something we take lightly. If it turns out that these individuals approaching are hostile to our efforts in Fontaine, then they pose a threat. However, regardless, we do find life to be precious. And we would not...
Roll an insight check?
Can you what?
Can I roll an insight check on that?
Sure, roll an insight check.
14.
Right, what are you looking for, though?
Whether he was being honest about his value for life.
Sure. With a 14 in your insight, you will determine that there is truth behind his words. However, you do feel like, although it is truthful, it comes across a bit shallow to you.
There's value, it's just how expensive.
Debatably. But, yes, so we are willing to provide. It could be monetary. If you are looking for credits, we would be willing to form a contract for this job. But if there is something in particular that you are looking for, we are the Narrow Trade Company. We would be very willing to partake in trade as well for service.
Does that include a ride off this planet?
Well, if the drive comes back and our business is concluded there, we did promise 10 million credits. That should be enough for at least, well, that should be enough to be able to buy a ticket off this planet if you so desire it. But yes, if you wish for a write-off, that could be part of our agreement.
What would you consider a threat? From these individuals outside the wall?
These individuals outside, as far as our indications are, as all indications show, were sent here by Dynasty. However, we have lost insight to their motivations, and that poses a risk. So we are looking to send someone to intercept before they arrive within the city limits. Determine what they are doing here, what they are looking for, why they have come to Fontaine instead of searching for what they were sent here to find. And if they are unwilling to fulfill their contract, then, well, they will pose a threat to our goals.
It's hard for us to determine what a threat would be then if we don't know your goals.
It's very simple. Their goals should be very much aligned with your goals, from my understanding.
I think I know what to look for in these people.
I
did have a
you would.
question. Is there
Please?
any chance this group could have any relation to someone by the name Tesla?
Why do you ask of Tesla? Who is this Tesla, and why would it be of any importance?
If these people were connected to a workplace associate named Tesla, then we would know very well the kind of people these are already. But if there is no such known connection, then we'll have to look into the matter the hard way.
I would leave that determination to you. I am not aware if there is any relation with Tesla. All I am aware of is that this group, I suppose we might be the wrong way of phrasing. It is a matter of Dynasty, and the Narrow Trade Company's partnership with Dynasty gives us a certain degree of wiggle room on Aurora Green. And in exchange, if Dynasty wishes us to provide services on a planet where perhaps they do not have the... where they do not have a adequate reach, then the Narrow Trade Company may be able to provide its assistance. As far as this Tesla individual, no. I personally do not know the name.
Of course. I sometimes forget, seeing the grand nature of the accommodations here, I forget that it almost reminds me of when I would be in the presence of someone from management and Dynasty. Seems like, well, I wouldn't want to assume where careers are headed. I'll have to get in touch with my handler and see if they can give me information.
That may be an avenue for you to explore, yes. It is easy to forget. Or rather than forget, perhaps it is easy to misjudge your perspective depending on the scale that you operate in. My business here is focused on Narrow and its, well, my focus is on the Narrow Trade Company and its growth. However, to say that we are not tied to Dynasty would be an understatement, as much as I'm sure you can relate in your own bubble of existence.
I think we would be happy to look into this matter.
Okay. All right. Well, as you are wrapping up this conversation, and the rest of you are kind of listening in, the door behind you all opens up again, and that female walks back in. Sir, I have completed the analysis. The files here all seem to be original and genuine. We do see that there was a new device connected to it recently, but outside of that, there does not seem to be any tampering with the data within. Very good. And he reaches for it. She gives him the drive and asks if there's anything else she can do, and no, he dismisses her as she heads out again very quickly to return to her work. And with that, Mr. Cooper lays the drive on the desk in front of you all. So it looks like you have all completed your end of the bargain. I will ask this once. There is no other records of this information. Once again, the entire purpose of this.
We took everything we found and he had it.
We kept them under surveillance as they were surrendering materials. There's not a chance they could have snuck anything out.
That actually led to the conflict that you heard about.
Okay. The ones that did not speak, I'm going to have you all give me a deception roll. The ones that did speak, I'm going to have you give me a deception roll with advantage.
That is a 7 from me.
9.
Wow.
Oh no.
I have a proficiency at least, and I have like a +5.
Sam takes a sip of the drink, and you kind of hear like a giggle laugh. Like Ron Swanson's laugh.
All right.
So,
So,
you got shot, Sam.
so those who did not speak, as you stand about and sip your drink and observe. Koji with a 7, Sam with a 9, Daario with a 6, and for those who did speak up, Maxine with an 8, and Cadin with a 14. Well, those are some shitty ass rolls. But Mr. Cooper looks at all of you very carefully, and his eyes will narrow a bit when he looks at Sam.
Sam, it's not funny that you got shot.
Excuse me? Sorry. The drink is just very delicious. And it warms me in a way that no other drink has warmed me before.
He turns away and, very well. Well, with this, our business is concluded. Our contract complete. Who shall I be sending the credits to?
I'll just lift a hand. That'd be me.
And very well, he will pull out from this little from his desk. There's a kind of like almost like an old school credit card reader looking gadget, but much more thin and sleek. Kind of looks more like an iPhone design or shape, like a little box. And he places it up on the desk, and in front of him, he motions his fingers in a few patterns, and you see reflected off of his eyes, he seems to be looking at some kind of an interface, and he simply nods over to the device on the desk. Go ahead and tap your device there, and you should see the funds received.
Man, we forgot to say we want to get paid in sheep.
I'll approach and present the visor Omni device.
All right. Yeah. So
Oh,
you're.
your old one, not your new one?
Oh, actually, yeah. So
Different
just to be clear, then, so you have two devices: the visor, which is your Dynasty device, and then you have
Yep.
a wristwatch, which is the Omni device.
Yep. So I would have the watch on, visor just with me in a pocket.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So the one
So
that
just-
you're putting close to the device is the watch.
In this circumstance, I was using the visor just to try to maintain the appearances of, because I've worked for Dynasty. Of course, I'm gonna have a Dynasty thing.
Okay. Yeah. Quick question then, just to clarify: is the visor on or off? Because I know you turned it off for a while. Then when you guys left the Narrow Trade Company last time, he had prompted you that you should turn the visor back on.
I was assuming on because
Okay.
I figured that's how he got a hold of me.
Yeah, that would be. Okay,
So-
just want to make sure we're on the same page. All right.
Yep.
A moment later, as you bring your device closer, before you even get it to the point where it's making any sort of contact, you hear a blip on the visor, and you find that your funds has increased by 10 million credits.
I'll just pocket it again.
Also, I just realized this on the character sheets. The journal page on your character sheets is gone now, huh?
Yes.
That blows because I was really hoping to use that. Oh well. All right. Well,
Yeah, hopefully the sheets get fixed. Because as a DM, I'm also feeling that.
Yeah, it was actually a super useful tab just to have like non-personal bio-related information, and now it's gone. Shoot. All right. Well, that aside. Yeah, Maxine, your funds again increased by 10 million. If you guys still have any questions around the credit decimal system, let me know. But Mr. Cooper will turn back, and so back to this approaching group. It indicates that our observations indicate that they are about a days away. If you were to depart today, you will likely intercept them before they reach the city limits. But if you were to wait until the following day, then we would likely ask you to meet them at the outskirts of Fontaine.
So, again, it seemed like you were on all right terms with Dynasty. What about these four is the issue?
I'll make it clear to you when we're on our way. I know what to look for in these people.
No, I get that they might have something that you can see in them, but my understanding is like you get along with Dynasty. I thought that's what's confusing. I'm talking to Cooper when I say this. Like,
As Maxine is trying to answer Cadin's questions, and Cadin is kind of ignoring Maxine, and Cooper is listening to Cadin in particular, he interrupts, and it is not an issue of our relationship with Dynasty. It is not the relationship with Dynasty that is at hand. The issue at hand is that these individuals, we are no longer certain if their purpose on Aurora Green aligns with why they were brought here in the first place.
okay. I'll defer to Maxine in this.
Cooper looking at you all. Is there still something that is not clear about this? My understanding was Arcturus is capable of solving business disputes.
We're capable of it. The issue is whether we take jobs or not whether we can complete them.
I understand perfectly.
He's looking a little more skeptical now as he looks at, between Maxine and the others.
I will defer to Maxine on this one.
That would be for the best.
So, it sounds as though we may have a bit of an agreement, but the question still stands on if there is something that you wish to gain from this transaction. Again, I was thinking a monetary reward would be appropriate, depending on the outcome. But if there is something that you wish to propose, I will listen.
I'll got everything I need right now. You guys?
I am of the opinion that a monetary reward would be most agreeable.
Very well. If it turns out that these individuals are simply now a rogue group, perhaps they are coming to Fontaine to simply get off the planet and terminate their contract. That is a possibility. If that is the case, we will pay out, say, 400,000 credits. But if we find that they are a threat and they are put down, we will pay out as a sign of generosity. How about 1 million credits?
So you pay 10 million for a hard drive, but 1 million for 4 lives?
Does that seem like a problem to you?
That was really important data. Those are really cheap people.
To be fair, the 1 million is not for their lives, but more for your skills, your involvement, and your discretion.
So what, is our discretion, cheapened for you? You paid, what, 5 mil for it last time?
You seem to misunderstand. The United Federation has an abundance of lives. And within the United Federation and with the advancements that organizations like Dynasty have provided for our humanity, we are able to provide individuals a comfortable life and give them a reasons to strive for. However, the Federation, the Federation runs on information, data, as you seem to misunderstand, intrinsically has more value than a life. It is the unfortunate way that we operate.
We're not discussing the price of lives right now. We're discussing the price of discretion.
Your discretion in this matter has less value because of the contents of what this transaction would entail. I assure you that we have paid less for more work.
This is a small job. We do well. Maybe there'll be more in the future.
Your leader here seems to have a bit more wisdom and experience in these matters than the rest of you. I would implore that you listen.
Koji will glance over at Maxine and then nod.
Well, if we have any hope of reaching these individuals before they have a chance to potentially cause trouble, we should be on our way. Does anyone have any further issues with the proposed reward system in place here? Or are we good to go? Take that as good to go.
Do you have a way for us to find these people? Or is that on us?
Once you depart the Narrow Trade Company, I've already set in motion a contract to be made. Your Maxine will be receiving our contract, and once you have agreed to it, we will send you an information link that will provide you with the rough location of where these individuals are coming from. You should be able to pinpoint their location. It is quite accurate and updates every 3 nanoseconds.
More than enough for sufficient training. Shall we be on our way then?
You shall. I have a meeting coming up and my time is quite short for the rest of this afternoon. So, if you would, as he stands and gestures towards the door.
I'll head.
All right, you all will
Follow.
make your way out, and you're led out by the bodyguard, who takes you back to the security room, and from there leaves you with the guards as you get your items back. And the party will enter back into the Narrow Trade Company lobby as the bodyguard returns down the hall back towards Mr. Cooper's office. As you all reach your way outside, the day is still early, as it is you guys woke up later in the day, but it's still kind of before noontime as far as our times are concerned. And you are all welcome to decide what to do next, as I think we will probably cut it a little short tonight, just because I would like to keep my limbs rested due to some...
He's talking about his dick.
Yeah, that's the limb I'm talking about. No. Fortunately, I had a bit of an injury, so we're pushing on 2 hours anyways. Not that kind. Will you shush?
You said it.
You laughed. But anyways, yeah. As you all head out of the Narrow Trade Company, moments later, Maxine, you get another chime on your Dynasty visor. As you take a gander, as you and the party walk out, you will find that you have been sent a 2,465 page contract with 4 places to sign, which includes what you would receive, what the objective is, which is to make contact with this approaching group, identify their motivations and purpose for approaching Fontaine, and depending on whether they are a perceived threat or not, if your judgment decides to allow them to continue unharassed, then you guys will in exchange gain 400,000 credits. Or if it turns out that they are a threat, then if they are removed from being a threat, you guys will be compensated 1 million credits. Their position is also connected. Well, I guess before that, yeah, you received the contract. We'll start with that.
And only Maxine gets this, right?
Only Maxine is going to receive. Yep, correct.
All right. I think I would just want to kind of try to skim through it, find anything important, and then ask if anyone wants a split of the money that we just got.
Oh, you wouldn't say no? More money's always good.
Yeah, I definitely think some sharing is in order.
Yeah, so speaking of that, you had all received, or Maxine has received, a transfer of 10 million credits for completing, as a group, the retrieval of the records that were the records of a business arrangement between Grimes' shop and Narrow Trade Company. And having turned in that data drive and accompanying invoice that was made by Grimes' shop against their original contract, you guys got that 10 mil. And yeah, how are you guys going to split that?
Well, we said we were going to get the 5 to Grimes that he's owed for the job to begin with, right? Are we still doing that?
Yeah, if that's what we promised.
So, 1 million to everyone, 5 to Grimes.
What about the million for the good faith? Just for go checking out these 4 guys.
That comes later.
Yeah,
We don't have that yet.
Yeah.
So I'll just kind of cycle the money into my off the books device, and then 1,000 or a million. Fuck numbers. 1 million.
Yep.
To each
So
of the others?
Maxine, remove 4 million, and everyone else can gain 1 million.
Yep, and then I'll just hold on to the 5 ready to give that to Grimes. Unless someone else wants to take that particular task, I would elect Cadin as an option. And maybe Daario as an option. And maybe myself. I don't think Sam or Koji should be seen near Grimes ever again.
I might have become a very faithful customer. You don't know.
Yeah, as you with your helmet on with no shirt on or whatever the fuck your getup was. No, you actually didn't have anything on. No, you're fine. You look like you should do.
I want to figure out a way for Koji's mustache to move when he talks with the helmet on.
Well, you might find a little gadget that could do that as he talks, voice activated.
I do think I have a couple tasks I want to prepare to do in the coming some amount of time, separate from looking into this new mission. But I think we also have to determine how quickly we want to approach this. So,
didn't we want to get you some new tech, Maxine? Wasn't that the whole point of this?
It wasn't directly related to this, but this is sort of its own thing now. I would like to have something, but it's hard to say if we'll even have the money to do so just yet. Well,
if you use all, going back to Grimes, before we head out to meet these 4 individuals, could you see if he has anything to armor up our vehicle?
I think first and foremost, we determine if we go to intercept these people before they enter the city, where we won't have any. I mean, we wouldn't expect to have much in the way of backup anyway, but should anything go wrong, we're on our own out there. But if they reach the city, more opportunity for them to potentially cause trouble, more opportunity for outside parties to intervene that we might want not involved. So do we want to go after these immediately?
Yeah, I say we meet him out there.
And we've already got some armor on this thing, so it should be good for now. If we take care of this, maybe look into a bit of R&R of a sort. I have something I want to look into. And then we can also consider how to deal with the Grimes compensation after we deal with this.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
All right then. So then probably get ready to start heading out of town.
Okay. Maxine must be pacing again because you sound distant. All right.
What that was me finally sitting down in my chair that is a bit away from my desk.
Man, let's go. All right. So what I heard is that you guys are going to prepare and depart in order to meet up with not meet up, but intercept where these individuals are coming from. And according, so Maxine, the contract that you received, you went ahead and quickly scanned through it. Typical Dynasty paperwork from the looks of it, clearing themselves of all liability, removing themselves as they're not responsible for your actions type of deal. But sounds like you guys are ultimately going to be accepting the exchange.
Yeah.
Or the
I think so.
compensation, I mean. Yeah. All right. So once you make that acceptance and sign off, Maxine, you get another prompt with an attachment that includes a tracker. It seems to be some kind of a satellite-based pinpointing. There's a word for it, but anyways, it pinpoints the location of the rough location of where this group is coming from, and it appears to be moving fairly quickly, as you end up finding kind of almost like a satellite view of this object. It can't quite zoom in enough to see exactly what it is, but there does seem to be some kind of a vehicle, perhaps, that is rushing from right to left, and the imagery kind of traces onto it, and it gives you a rough position of it based on your distance to it as well as Fontaine's position in relation to it all. So you have a pretty good way, it seems, of triangulating where this group is going to be and how to get to them. And if you guys leave Fontaine in the next couple of hours, it looks like you guys will meet about halfway out before they arrive at the outskirts of the city itself. So looks like you guys have a couple hours room to prepare. And Maxine, yeah, you'll be able to track them using that satellite imagery.
Sounds good.
And yeah, just because I think, again, we are going to be winding down here and wrapping it up after a couple hours here tonight. What I heard for afterwards is that, Maxine, you have some tasks that you want to propose to the party after this contract is fulfilled. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, there's the Grimes thing, and then the maybe some sort of kind of R&R, team building, that sort of stuff.
Sure. Okay, cool. Outside of Maxine, the rest of you, what are you thinking? Anything you want to bring up to the party before we wrap up for the night?
Obviously a bit curious on who these people are.
Sure. Aren't we
Yeah.
all? Who could they be? What could they want?
Man, I hope it's not 4 humans and a technician.
You get out there. There's nobody here. Why? Where'd the sun go?
So yeah, they send someone else out to kill us while we're out there trying to kill.
Oh my god, I'm not that cynical, guys. Stop taking my ideas. We'll see what happens. This should be an interesting. This should be an interesting encounter. But with that, I think we are going to be calling our second half of our episode 20 here, as the party now has resolved the contract dispute between Grimes' shop and Narrow Trade Company. Yeah, let's go. And it only took you guys like 3 sessions. But outside of that, looks like there is some group that has made itself known to Dynasty, and in turn the Narrow Trade Company has now looked to you all to identify what are their intentions, and is it hostile, or are they simply approaching for, well, you guys will find out next time on Horizon Exploration. So with that, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back not next weekend, as one of our members might be unavailable, and I think you'll actually do me some well.
I won't be available also.
Okay, so yeah, it actually works out then. 3 of us will likely be a bit tied up for the 11th. So episode 21, where we find out who this new approaching group is and what the party is going to decide to do, and maybe even understand, as much as you guys have tried to find Maxine some new tech, that hasn't progressed much at all yet. But Horizon Exploration episode 21 will likely be on the 18th, so in a couple weeks, and the reminder on YouTube will be up within the next week. And yeah, outside of that, thanks again everybody, and until next time, as always, take it easy.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Peace.